This is my BMW E92 320D. I bought this car for cheap with broken timing chains. And so far I have spent a lot of money and time to repair it. Previously on the channel we pulled the engine out of this thing, then we rebuilt it with an overhauled head, new timing chains and rod bearings. We did that because the engine chain broke, which caused 3 valves to get bent. Then we dropped the engine in again and started it for the first time. And now the engine is working flawlessly. Now the car is running decently, the engine is working pretty good, so now we need to tackle a few other things, such as the bodywork. We need to repair the hood and the dent on the driver's door and make this car nice again. So let's not waste any more time and pull this car into the garage. So you guys remember that we need to repaint the hood, the door and the quarter panel technically. Well, the hood, because there's a bunch of sanding and paint stuff marks on it, he was probably trying to repair the stone chips. The door, not sure what is happening here, some kind of bondo. And then here, there is a bunch of also paint stuff, not sure what is happening here. However, here on the outside was like overspray from the inner part, which I just took 1200 grit, sanded it quickly and it went away. Now as we see, if I put water on it, it goes away completely. So that means we can polish this out. So I did 1200 grit, here I have 2000 grit. Then I don't have 3000, so I'll just do 2500 again. Yeah, so from what it seems, we don't need to repaint the whole quarter panel. We just need to get this polished because now it looks perfect when it's wet. Now in here we probably do need to repaint. I'm guessing he did it because there was somewhere some rust or something. So here I have 1500. Now I'm degreasing the surface. I have the greaser in here because I needed the spray bottle. So here I have actually a bit of different products. Here I have the base coat. This is I think 1 liter of base coat I bought when I was in Lithuania. It's so expensive here in Norway, so it was more worth for me to buy it there. I don't have the correct touch-up kit, or I don't have one at all, so I will just mix up a little bit of paint so we can apply it. By the way, the color code is A52. So then I will add a little bit of thinner. Usually I have heard people also, when they're mixing paint for touch-up, they add a little bit of clear coat into the mix just so it gives that shine. But I couldn't find info on do I put only the clear coat or I also put the clear coat hardener, so I didn't put it at all then. I mean, it looks better already. Now I applied 3 coats of base. I will sand down the base now, and then I will apply also 3 coats of clear, and then sand that as well, and then I'm gonna try to polish this out. So now I polished this out quickly. I used a Rupes dual action polisher. Then I used a wool pad with cutting compound to cut out, well, the scratches, and then I used a softer pad to buff out the paint. You can still see, if you look at it closely, that something's been done here, but it's a lot better than it was, and I would rather have it this way and keep the quarter panel in the original color than repaint the whole thing. As well, if you're not looking for it, you're not gonna see it. Now I will start removing the door card, because you can see this masterpiece here is like bent inwards, so I will try to hit it out from the inside, and also need to remove all this random ass bondo or what it is. What is happening? If I remember correctly, there are Torx bolts inside. Oh. Whoop. Okay, you can see here is the bend right there along the strut thing. See what happens if I try to hit it out. So now I pushed it out as much as I can, get access to it. And now we'll put the door card back. Now you're wondering what we're gonna do with the hood and the door. Well, they need to be repainted either way, or the hood is on the limit of being replaced because it's so bad. Since the whole parts need to be replaced, I will give it a shot to repaint it myself. If that doesn't come out good, I'll just get them repainted professionally, but I guess we can give it a shot. First thing, sand down the damaged area with 240 grit. And by damaged area, I mean anywhere where it's like a little bit rust, all these spots, and the door where we're gonna use some body filler.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways.
So now I removed all the inner hinges, covers and such. We are gonna paint the outer line here because there's some rust here. This is pretty rough, so this I'm gonna sand with belt sander and then we're gonna go over it with a scotch pad. Since the previous owner had sanded them down, bondoing the holes on top of rust, I had to sand out the complete damage. I had to go pretty deep, so I actually used 80 grit orbital sander. Now all of this is not smooth, but it's even. It's not like wavy because each damage I went more out. So now we'll use 240 grit, sand over all the damaged area again.
Till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, and on.
The hood is pretty smooth now. Now there is this high spot here. It's like there's extra metal. Right here, it's like it was stretched inwards. We pushed it back, there's like excess. When you heat the metal up, it tends to go back to the original size. So if I heat this up and try to hit it inwards a bit, it should shrink slightly. Woo! Now I have this kind of rust converter, rust remover. I'll just add this. And I'm gonna do the same here on the places that seems like it needs. When the rust converter is dry, I will add some epoxy primer on the rust possible places. Now I need to wait until this dries, then I can sand it a bit and apply filler to the places that needs it. Now I'm just gonna remove the mirror real quick. You're supposed to pull this trim up. Okay. There you go. Okay, so that just pops out like that. So now I also need to remove the door handle. And you do that by removing this trim piece. Then inside there's a Torx screw, which you need to release. Do not remove it completely. Like this. Now we'll give it a quick sand, because all of this is dry. So as we see, there was some rust in the little holes there. I couldn't get access to it because it was pretty rough, so I just used a belt sander, and now I'm applying rust converter. Now the hood, damage on it is mostly done. The door is also done. Well, the body filling part is perfectly smooth now, you could say. I sanded down around the repair area with 400 grit orbital. Remove the big scratches from when you're blocking it. Now we'll take 600 and sand the rest of the panel where we haven't sanded yet. Basically anywhere where we will be not applying primer.
Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
This is body primer, filler. So it's supposed to be mixed 4 parts primer and 1 part hardener.
And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love.
Now I masked up the car as best as I can. Masking a car up for paint takes a long time. Last time we painted, I had doors closed and I had set up this kind of ventilation. That was awful. You couldn't really see what she was doing at all. So I'm not gonna do it this way this time. This time I have the heat on max and we're gonna have the door fully open. Whoa. Firstly, we'll spray here. Then I will take here on the side where there is tape and lower it down like this. Now I need to degrease the surface. Last time I painted, I got this Honest Iwata gun, but I had a problem with the bottom screw. There was something broken inside, so the shaft was loose from the screw. This is the amount of air that it sends to the gun screw and you adjust it. I don't need it since I have an external adjustment screw here. There's a gauge here and I can see how much bar it sends. This screw is the place where it engages and starts to spray. So you do it by opening it and then putting the trigger in, holding it in, and then tightening this until it stops. Now it's tight. Now it's tight, but if I released it, I can still go more. But you don't. You tighten it until it's tight with the trigger in. There you go. This screw adjusts the pattern and how wide it sprays. So the golden rule of thumb is you go all the way in and then go a quarter of a turn back. That makes it wide, but when you go a bit back, it rounds off the edges and it's a nice even spray. Now the gun is set up to the basics and you go and adjust it as you paint. This is the clear coat. This is the clear coat hardener. Here we have the base coat, A52, and the base coat, you don't mix it with hardener, you mix it with thinner. Base coat is mixed 1-to-1 with thinner. So I have this little cup here. I need to mix up the paint because I'm not sure. It's been standing for a bit. So then the base coat. Now we'll test out the spray pattern on the cardboard. Pretty good. I forgot one thing. I'm gonna use sticky wipe real quick and wipe down the panels for any dust that is stuck on the surface. This is like a sticky wipe and it collects all the dust. I had completely forgot about that. The inside, it doesn't really matter at this point.
Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love.
Third coat of base.
You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you
I completely forgot about the cap for the bumper. So now I need to do that. Few coats off. Damn it. Now I need to clean the gun. Some people say it's enough to spray through it, and some people say you have to remove the jet and the needle. So I'm just going to remove the jet and the needle. When you're removing the jet, you have to make sure to always remove the needle first, because if you don't, you're risking to scratch the needle, and that's not good. Then the cap. By the way, when I explained in the beginning, I had the wrong way. You're supposed to open it this way, all the way, and then I go a bit in to round off the edges. I said wrong. So now, since the paint is dry to touch, the clear coat is mixed 2-to-1 with hardener. So 2 parts of clear coat and 1 part of hardener. Now the hard part, to apply it. Now it's been, I think, maybe half an hour, something like that, since the So the way you know when it's ready for the second coat of clear coat is when you touch it, well, not the paint, you touch the tape beside the paint, let's say. It's supposed to be sticky, but not too sticky. Now here we see, here you can see when I touch it, strings come off. So you could see that when I touched it now and pulled my finger away, there was a bunch of strings. That means it's still not dry enough. When you touch and it's sticky, but there's no strings, mark of your finger left, then you know it's ready for the second coat of clear coat. So it's actually very mixed feelings about clear coat. The professionals and the people that are really good at it, they say do 2 coats. You can do the first one a bit thinner, then the second one wet coat. That is what I tried to do last time, and you guys know what happened. And people in the last video said take more coats, but do them lighter so it doesn't run as easy. So I tried to do this coat a bit wetter than the last one, and it came out pretty good. I'm satisfied. But I will do a third coat as well. I'll try to do the same wetness, because I feel like the coat that I did now is not as wet as it should be. Well, it's wet, but maybe not as wet as professionals do it. And if there is some kind of, well, orange peel or something, we do need to sand it and polish it out after. So I'm thinking I will do a third coat as well. I will try to do it as wet as this one, maybe even wetter, but I don't want it to run as well. But so far, so good. A lot of paint fog in here, but how it looks now, it's pretty okay. There were a few spots. Right here there is a spot, and it seems like some water dripped out of my paint gun, even though I have 2 water collectors on my compressor, and I drained the compressor of water, so apparently there was maybe some still left, but I think it's good enough for the shape that the hood was in. We will see how it turns out when it's dry. Now I'm just gonna clean the gun and let the paint dry. So now a few hours later, still not fully dry, but you can touch the paint hard at least. But if we're careful enough, we can start removing the stuff around. Do we just put a bunch of clear coat from under for no reason? Does it come without clear coat from factory? Did I really just do that? I mean, not bad. The color is pretty similar. You can't really see anything. I did hit it a bit when I was sanding, so we need to polish here and the parts as well. But to be honest, I think it will work. Now I need to see if the hood latches. Then let's put in the rear cover, freshly painted. This is where you should really see the difference if there was a big difference in paint. But I mean, of course the bumper is dirty, but the color pretty match on. So now we can finally test the light, because I finally got the ballast, or well, the module. This here is the little module. I bought it. Original ones were expensive. Used ones I couldn't find any nearby, and I saw that it was pretty good reviews on the eBay ones. So I bought this one from AliExpress. I ordered 2 of them, and there were good reviews on this one. So I mean, I guess worth a shot. It was like actually pretty fast arrival. It took like a week. So that was super fast to arrive. Because the used ones go for around 50 euros each, and this one was around 50 euros for 2. So in my opinion, that is a pretty good deal. Now, firstly, before we put it in, let's actually just connect it up and see if it even works. Yeah, it seems that it's working. The only thing is the day running lights, the angel eyes, I have removed currently, so I do need to put it back in. So AliExpress wins once again. Now these ones were actually in the 335, I think. That is in. I also need to install it on this side. So it seems that the ballast is working, however one of the engine lights, they're not working. Okay, in its place. Now I do need to connect the headlight washer, and don't need to forget to install the headlight washer clip. So then there's one bolt from the inside. So I have driven the car for about a few hundred kilometers right now. Everything is good. The front brakes are good. The back brakes vibrating like crazy, and you can see how rusty they are. Okay, so now I compress the piston. Now I need to release the handbrake. I also bought handbrake shoes, but I clearly see that they have been replaced some time ago, but this is still perfectly good, so I'm not gonna replace them again. The same. Then the bracket. The old pads had a bunch of meat left. Beautiful. The best way to tighten a handbrake, you tighten it fully until it's fully locked out, maxed out. Now it's fully locked. So then you release it by a few clicks. And one open, in this case. So now we'll do the other side real quick. You can also see that the brake dust shield has been replaced previously, and that the axle nut is new. So probably that's when they replaced the handbrake shoes. So now after the brake replacement, I think I have driven around 1,000 kilometers even. And the car, I can say, is performing flawlessly. It's really stable, no more vibrations at all. There was a bit of rust on the front discs as well, but after driving it for so long, all of it has cleared itself off, and there's no more vibration under braking at all. Very nice car. At this point I could say there's, well, nothing wrong with it. The lights working perfectly. Holy cow, the camera keeps falling. Damn. What is that? So that is going to be it for this video. I don't think there's going to be any more videos on this car. So we bought this car for 15,000 crowns, and on all the repairs I think I spent around 20k. Still good price, because they are more expensive in Norway than that. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, and if you want to support the channel, Patreon is in the description. I hope to see you in the next one.